carelessly left the door unlocked, and the breeze had just taken it off the latch, leaving it swaying in the brisk morning air. I admonish myself, promising that I will pay more attention in future. There might not be anything in here to entice an opportunist looking for an easy grab and sell, but there is still incredibly sensitive information held within the drawers of the cabinets that, in the wrong hands, could have far more damaging consequences. I take a sip of my coffee and turn the electric heater on just to take the edge off. It's forecast to be a warm day, but the overnight coolness has made its presence felt, not helped by leaving the door open, I say scathingly to myself. I shiver involuntarily as I open my diary, though I can't tell whether it's because of the very real chill in the air or seeing who my first appointment is. Jacob. My chest tightens, and I ask myself for the 100th time whether I've done the right thing by him. I know I certainly haven't done right by Leon, but then I wonder if that's not his own fault. If he hadn't been so distracted lately, I would have found it easier to tell him. But the job that we thought would give us more time together has actually resulted in exactly the opposite. Because even when he's home, he's on constant call, and the summer concert that he's spent the last 4 months organizing is fast approaching, leaving him with even less time and certainly less patience. I've wanted to tell him about Jacob. Tried several times, but he's never listened long enough for me to get to the important part. But maybe that's just me choosing to see it that way, because I know how he's going to react when I do. He'll no doubt take me to task for caring too much and going beyond the call of duty. But there's a reason for that. I knew as soon as Jacob started coming to see me 3 months ago that his story was different. Although he, like all of my clients, had reached the point where he felt able to put his pride aside and bravely ask for help, the irony of his situation was that he wasn't looking to save himself. He wanted to save the woman who had been abusing him for 10 years.
"If I don't get out now, I'm terrified of what I might do,"
he'd said when I asked him why he'd come to see me during our first session.
For the first time ever, I was going to retaliate, and it scared me because I didn't know what I might be capable of.
I'd looked at him, curiously, unable to recall another client who thought they were the one who needed help instead of the person who had been making their life hell. "Can you tell me what happened to make you feel this way?" I'd asked softly. He'd looked down at his intertwined fingers in his lap.
"She stayed out last Saturday,"
he'd started.
"All night."
"Okay," I said. "And do you know where she'd been?" He'd laughed cynically.
"Oh, she made sure to tell me all the details."
He shifted on the sofa, pulling a scatter cushion onto his lap as if it were a metaphorical barrier. I'd sat back in my chair opposite him, giving him the time and space to decide whether he wanted to elaborate.
"She'd been with another man,"
he'd said eventually.
"Having the best sex she's ever had."
I'd recoiled inwardly, unable to imagine how it must feel to be told something like that by the person you thought you were going to spend the rest of your life with. "She told you that?" I'd asked incredulously, seemingly still capable of being shocked by the sadistic behavior of some people, despite being in the job for over 10 years. He'd nodded.
"Yes, just before she straddled me and attempted to force herself on me."
"And what happened?"
"Absolutely nothing,"
he said.
I could still smell him on her, for God's sake. But regardless, I could no longer convince my body that making love to her was what I wanted to do. It had listened to the call to action for so long, ever ready to perform when she wanted it to. But eventually, my brain just said, "Enough. I can't do this anymore."
His lips had closed and he'd grimaced.
She told me I was an embarrassment to mankind, unable to perform the most primitive of functions.
"How did that make you feel?" I'd asked.
"Less of a man,"
he said.
"Though I guess she's ingrained it in me to such an extent that it's impossible to feel any other way."